Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peteytown Piranhas, a college football 26 team builder dynasty. In this episode, we're going to be playing through year 13 of the Piranhas, and it's a very exciting one indeed. We're coming off a three-peat of national championships, and we also have a 48-game winning streak that surpassed Oklahoma's record of 47, so very exciting stuff there, but we are looking to make even more history this season, as we're looking to become the only team in college football Division I to win 4 national championships in a row. So history on the line in this one, and I think we have a very special group to try and do it. So we're going to go over our schedule, then we're going to look at the team itself, and then finally we're going to do some recruiting updates as we look at our initial board, and then we'll step into the season. The Piranhas will start out by hosting Baylor, and then traveling to Kentucky, and then also traveling to Colorado. Then we open up our Big Ten play in Autzen Stadium at Oregon. Then we play UCLA, Northwestern, and Washington. Then we travel to Wisconsin, take on Purdue, then travel to the Big House to play Michigan. Then we'll have a bye week, and then finish the season against our rivals Pitt and Indiana. The Piranhas come into the season ranked number 1 in the country with a 99 team overall and 99 offense and defense, and we are led by 99 overall Trent Chick, and Lee O'Halletti is actually a 98 true overall, but 99 with tactician boost, and then Anthony Swift is our other 99 true overall player at cornerback. At quarterback, of course, we know we have Lee O'Halletti, and then waiting in the wings is Greg Proctor, who's a redshirt sophomore with elite devs, so excited to see what he can do for us in the future. At halfback, we're going to have Nick Fry, seeing what he can do out there, along with Steve Sharp going in there for power situations, and we'll kind of monitor it, see how the guys do. If one guy starts outperforming the other, they might become our main halfback where Steve Sharp is concerned, but if Nick Fry is doing his thing, we're just going to let it ride out with that duo. Returning for his senior season at fullback will be Daryl Lawrence. At wide receiver, we're going to have some guys who have been waiting their turn in Malachi Doyle, Derek Wall, and Frank Hay. And then we have Salisi Tavasu maybe coming in for different sets, but we're going to have Malachi in our slot role, and in those situations, Derek and Frank will be on the outside, and having Frank on the outside is exciting with that platinum takeoff. This will be the senior season for superstar tight end Max Martino, and we're really excited to see what he can do this season. After putting up some huge record-breaking numbers his first 3 years, he's just going to be adding on to those records this year. On the offensive line from left to right, you're going to have Sergio Collinet, then of course Trent Chick, and then the man in the middle will be Jabari Enekpali. At right guard, you have Larry Funk. And then on the other side on tackle is Logan McGrath. On the defensive side of the ball, you're going to have Juan Santiago coming off the edge, along with Sidney Dunsmore. And in some packages, you're going to have Byron Ezeki out there. And then in the middle, you have superstar Juan Ivey in the defensive tackle spot, and really expecting big things out of him. And then we're going to have Cal Brown on his other side, our transfer. In the linebacking core will be Corbin McNulty, and then our leader here is Harvey Talbot, and then on the other side will be Femi Kiki. Anthony Swift, of course, leading the cornerbacks, along with Kareem Lord, and then Josh Linder will be there in the slot situations. Protecting us in the back end will be Ben Hemphill, and then on the other side will be Randy Felton, and behind him will be Max Carmen, who's a star dev, and he'll be out there for 3-3-5 stuff and all these other different things, so want to see what he can do out there along with Randy. Freshman kicker Frank Webb is going to have some big shoes to fill as Josh Grudadaria graduated, but we have faith in Frank. And then at punter will be junior Tyler Rios. On the recruiting side of things, we got 7 gems that we're looking at, with free safety Talia Chung with 90 speed and acceleration and agility, and he's got 81 zone coverage. And then at cornerback is Walt Bender with good athleticism and pretty solid coverage already with bronze robber. And Mike linebacker Joel Okorafor has very good athleticism, platinum workhorse, and a couple other abilities, and I think he's just going to be a solid overall kind of guy. Then defensive tackle Stevie Johns, got some good athleticism at that position and 86 finesse moves. Then Stephen Bakhtiari is a pure possession tight end and athletic as really any kind of pure possession guy you can find here, with 86 speed and 83 acceleration, pretty good catch in traffic. And then you got quarterback Demetrius Telfort, got solid stats there and that gem that's got us excited. And then at right tackle Sammy Malik, and he's just got very solid blocking already, and he's in a Tier 5 pipeline for us as he's from New Jersey, so very excited about those guys. For guys that are not gems, you have this very exciting cornerback, Luis Moe, and he's got very good athleticism, 94 speed, 96 acceleration, so would love to add him to the team. Then you got strong safety, Jamison Addison, very athletic as well, but the thing that really stuck out was he already has Platinum Robber, so I think that's just very exciting stuff. And then will linebacker Ron Griffin, very athletic as well. And then you go down the line, you got some other 5 stars and 4 stars at the end. And of course we had to add a fullback for our offense, so that's where we got there. So this is what we're looking at to start this season for recruiting. Very exciting to see as we start this season that Lee O'Haleti is at the top of the Heisman Trophy race, so we'll see if we can keep him in this conversation for the whole season. Time to get this season underway at the Piranha Tank as we take on number 15 Baylor with their 86 team overall.
From the gun, wants to pass.
And we are going to get a touchdown strike here to Max Martino from Lee O'Haleti, and the Peteytown Piranhas are up 7-0.
They didn't, but I don't think it's because there was a lack of effort on the part of the coach.
And Baylor finds a guy wide open in the middle of our zones, just got lost in coverage there, and Baylor is going to tie this one up at 7. And we are going to respond to Baylor's touchdown with a touchdown of our own, again to Max Martino for his second of the day, and we're going to go up 14-7. And Baylor is going to use that speed option, and their quarterback just walks it on in, and Baylor has tied it up again at 14-14 as our defense has looked a little leaky so far to start the season. And out to Max Martino, and he's got his third touchdown of the day. And we're going to go up 21-14 as this offensive onslaught from both teams continues. And around the edge comes Sidney Dunsmore, and he's going to force a fumble here. And that's going to force Baylor to take a field goal attempt. Right down the middle here for Baylor as they're going to try one from 34 yards out. Their kicker is going to put it up, and it is good. So we finally keep Baylor out of the end zone in this drive, but they do still get some points as it's going to be 21-17. Max Martino getting around the edge, and nobody is going to stick with Max Martino here as he is going to get into the end zone again. Fourth touchdown of the day for Max, just absolutely dominating in this one, and the Piranhas are going to take a 2-possession lead at 28-17. Offense is able to get downfield to the 20-yard line to set up the first field goal attempt in the career of Frank Webb. Frank is going to put it up, and he's going to calmly put it through, and we're going to take a 2-touchdown lead into halftime at 31-17. And on the slant, it's going to be Derek Wall getting it just into the end zone, and he'll be the first Piranha this season, not named Max Martino, to score a touchdown as we go up 38-17. And this one is going to be intercepted by Josh Linder. Their man tried to go deep on that one, but Josh was right where he needed to be, and we're going to set our offense up on their side of the 50. And off the slant, it is going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas again. Malachi Doyle with some physicality there out of the slot to get in, and he's going to make it 45-17. Offense stalls out at their 35-yard line, so Frank Webb out here trying to make another kick today, and he will do just that to make it 48-17, and now it's time for some backups to get in for the first time this season. So the Piranhas claim a 48-24 victory over Baylor to begin the season, and a lot of good stuff on offense that we saw, maybe some things to fix defensively as far as playbook goes or different things or different adjustments, but overall, glad that we started this season off with a win. With that effort, Max Martino has set our school record in single-game receiving yards. Max also set the Peteytown single-game receptions record. So looking at this offensively abundant game, we had 536 yards to Baylor's 382, and we had 96 yards on the ground to their 80 and 2 touchdowns. A lot of the yards came through the air in this one, as we had 440 while Baylor had 302. We only failed 1 third down in this one, as we were 10 of 11 and Baylor was 7 of 12. Only 1 turnover in this game, and it belonged to Baylor. Lee O'Haletti was on fire in this game, and it's easy when you can throw to Max Martino a lot, but he was also spreading the ball to other guys as well, making some other nice throws, and he finished with 440 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he wasn't sacked. A little spread out today in the run game, but Nick Fry led us with 9 carries and 36 yards. Max Martino started this season with a bang, as he had 18 catches, 255 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Just incredible day. Then Nick Fry had 6 for 62, and Malachi Doyle 5 for 52 and a touchdown. And Derek Wall 6 for 22 and a touchdown. Dan Gentry came in with 12 tackles, and he was out there a little bit more because Harvey Talbot got a little banged up but was able to come back. And then Ben Hemphill had 10 tackles and 1 for a loss. Sidney Dunsmore had our only sack on the day, and he forced a fumble on it, but we couldn't recover it. Josh Linder with the first interception of the season for us on a nice play in coverage. Very nice debut for Frank Webb, as he hit both of his field goals with a long of 52. No shock here, as Max Martino was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, and Max also was the National Offensive Player of the Week. We're going to hop right into our game against Kentucky with their 79 overall, and they also won their first game this year, so see how we do with our first road test of the year. And on the first play of the game, we're going to get a sack with Juan Ivey and Sidney Dunsmore combining on that one, and that's going to be an 8-yard loss. And Lee O'Haletti is going to take this one in himself off of the RPO. Usually we like to throw out of that one, but this time Lee decided that he was the best option, and he was right. And the Peteytown Piranhas are going to go up 7-0. And we were going to throw an interception. Trying to throw it quickly was Lee O'Haletti, but Kentucky is going to jump that route. Piranhas are able to get this ball to the 13-yard line, but we stall out, and we are going to put up this kick, and it is off the upright and no good, so Frank Webb is not going to get the better of that one. And off the RPO, Kentucky is going to get this one into the end zone and got some momentum after that missed field goal of ours, and they're going to use that to tie up this game at 7-7.
Here's the snap, itching to fire downfield. Got it in the middle, it's Wall.
And Derek Wall is breaking off a tackle and getting around their defense, and Derek Wall is going to make a huge play off of that broken tackle. Wasn't sure if he was going to get away from that, so I wasn't talking about it, but Derek Wall made me look silly on that one, as he used his athleticism to get us to a 14-7 lead. And we're going to get a sack, and there's going to be a fumble, and it is picked up by Juan Ivey. Juan Ivey's got a clear lane to the end zone, and Juan Ivey is going to get us on another touchdown, a 21-7 lead for the Piranhas. What a great play by the defense. And Juan Ivey has had a knack for defensive touchdowns in his career, which is just a remarkable thing from a defensive tackle, as you're going to see Cal Brown getting in there for the sack and the forced fumble. And Cal Brown again is going to get in there for a sack. He's just been a monster these last 2 plays.
Send it back to the guys at Old Commonwealth State. He uncorks one deep.
And And that's going to be intercepted off of the hands of Max Martino. Leo Haletti trying to make a deep throw there. Gets a very nice return, and Derek Wall runs him down. Just first play of the second half. Leo Haletti trying to hit a big one to Max Martino, but unfortunate bounce there. Defense is able to hold pretty nicely after the interception as they force a field goal attempt by Kentucky. He's going to put this one up, and it is going to go right down the middle, so Kentucky is able to get it to 21-10. Nick Fry is going to get around their defense, and Nick Fry with some excellent ball carrier vision there, got some key blocks, and he did the rest as he sprung free, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to extend their lead to 28-10. And we're going to get a sack. It's going to be a fumble. It's just laying there still, and somehow Kentucky is going to recover that. It was just laying right under their guy, and he finally found it. They were trying to set up a screen, it looked like, but we got in there so quickly. We got a sack with Juan Ivey. Max Martino got tied up a little bit, but that is not going to stop him from getting into the end zone. Nice job by Max. Good find by Leo Haletti. And we're going to extend it to 35-10. And it's going to be a blocked extra point, so it's just going to be 34-10 as Kentucky got a very nice play there.
Takes it from the gun on third down. Throws to the tight
And Max Martino fights his way, reaches in for the end zone. Kentucky tried to get two guys to hit him out, but Max Martino fought through both of them. Nice strike from Leo Haletti as well. And we're going to go up 41-10 on Kentucky. And we're just about ready for these backups to come in. So the backups came in, got a couple more scores to make it a 55-10 victory for the Piranhas. Just a day where we had a few mistakes, but anytime you can make those mistakes and still win by 45 points, you'll take it. Special note here for our game against Kentucky. I forgot to mention it going into the game, but this was our 50th straight victory, so very happy with that milestone. Against Kentucky, we had 538 yards to their 176, and we had 132 of those on the ground with 3 touchdowns, while they had -2. And then for passing, we had 406 to their 178, while we were 6 of 9 on third down. Nice, and they were 4 of 14. And then in the turnover department, we actually had 2 to their 1. Leo Haletti with 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions that were pretty unlucky if you ask me, and he wasn't sacked today. Nick Fry, not a lot of carries, but he made the most of them for sure as he had 8 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown, while Leo Haletti added 3 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Max Martino with a big 12 catches, 137 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while Derek Wall had 3 for 100 and 1 touchdown. And then scrolling down, you had Zay Garvin with the backups getting 2 for 22 and a touchdown reception. Josh Linder led us with 9 tackles in this game. Pass rush was very effective as it was led by Juan Ivey and Cal Brown getting 2 sacks apiece, while you had 1 apiece for Sidney Dunsmore and Skylar DeMarco. 2 forced fumbles on the day with Juan Ivey and Cal Brown getting those, and then 1 was recovered by Juan Ivey that he returned 38 yards for a touchdown. Unfortunately, one of the little blemishes we had was Frank Webb missing his only field goal attempt. On the recruiting front, we got 5 guys in their top 5 now with Stevie Johns, Sammy Malik, Ron Griffin, Madison Schwenk, and Duke Keller, and Duke's the only one that's in second place right now, so we got him on a week 6 visit. And then the other guys are in tight battles, but the good thing is we got all 5 guys with their hard sells. Taking a look at the Heisman Trophy race, the top 2 guys are both Peteytown Piranhas, as Max Martino has taken over as the top guy, and Leo Haletti is in second. The Colorado Buffaloes are up next for the Peteytown Piranhas, as they have an 82 overall and 1-1 record early in this season. Max Martino wide open, their man was flat-footed, not sure what to do, and Max Martino took advantage of that to put us up early 7-0. And for the sack, we're going to get in there with Casey O'Neill, and that's going to be a 7-yard loss. Off the slant on the RPO, it's going to be a touchdown for Malachi Doyle, a nice short one there. Nice strike from Leo Haletti, and we're going to go up 2 scores.
Looking downfield, it's Foster.
And here comes Femi Kiki on the blitz. He's going to get the sack, and that's going to be a 7-yard loss.
From the gun, wants to pass.
Coming off the edge, Juan Santiago forcing a fumble, but they are going to recover that one. But Juan Santiago making some nice work out there off the edge.
The run to the right.
Nick Fry sprinting towards the end zone. We got him on that stretch play, and Nick Fry is going to finish it off with a nice run there, and it's going to be 21-0.
He's going to look for a man on third.
And we're going to get Frank Hay. Just a great anticipation throw there from Lee O'Haleti. Frank Hay turned around just in time to snatch it out of the air, and we're going to go up 4 scores.
Looking to throw on first down. Finds his man. It's
Derek Wall racing down the sideline, and nobody is there to catch Derek Wall as he sprints away from Colorado, and we're going to go up 35-0.
ball at the 38. The defense will
And big blitz here. Harvey Talbot is going to sprint in there to get the sack on Colorado.
looking to throw again.
And Max Martino is going to make that catch in front of their defender, just scooped it away from him, and the Piranhas are going to go up 42-0.
Wants to go up top on first down.
And we're going to have an interception from Lee O'Haleti. He audibled to a play, but they had it all boxed up there, and that'll be Colorado's really only highlight of the game so far here deep in the third quarter.
For the defense and their confidence.
And here comes a sack for the Piranhas as we're going to get in there with our man Casey O'Neill. The backups trade scores as the Piranhas walk out of here with a 49-7 victory over Colorado. Just great effort by the boys. The starting defense just smothering, and the starting offense very surgical in this one. In our win over Colorado, we had 500 yards to their 140, and we had 139 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, while they had 65 for a touchdown. And then through the air, we had 361, while they can only muster up 75. And we were 10 of 11 on third down, while they were 3 for 12. And then for turnovers, we had the only turnover in the ball game, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Until that interception late, Leo Haleti was fantastic in this one as he had 339 yards, 5 touchdowns, and the pick, and he wasn't sacked. Nick Fry led us with 8 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown, while we had our man Lee Prince come in with the backups with 3 for 48 and a touchdown. Max Martino continues to put up some nice numbers with 10 catches, 131 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Derek Wall had 5 for 79 and that very nice touchdown. Then going down further, Malachi Doyle 7 for 52 and a touchdown, and Frank Hay 4 for 36 and a touchdown reception. We were led by Femi Kiki in tackles with 7 in this ball game. In the sacks department, Casey O'Neill got himself 2. Then we had 1 each for Femi Kiki, Harvey Talbot, Juan Santiago, Skylar DeMarco, Henry Carden, and Byron Ezeki, as well as Shakir Paris. Juan Santiago also forced a fumble, but unfortunately we didn't recover it. In recruiting, a change is that Madison Schwenk is now in second place behind Penn State, so we decided to put him on a Week 6 visit here with Duke Keller, who's also still in second place on Georgia. And then we scroll down, we got some more guys in their top 5 as Talia Chung, then Stephen Bakhtiari, Demetrius Telfort, Daniel Moma are all in their top 5. And then you got Xavius Harmon, Frederick Woods, and Luis Moe there as well. And Luis, Frederick, and Xavius are all with a double soft cell, and the rest of the guys have hard cells going, so we'll see how these battles progress. We have a Game of the Week matchup against the Oregon Ducks with their 89 team overall, 2-1 record, and number 18 ranking, and it's one of the toughest places to play in the country, so really got to keep our wits about us. And we're going to get a quick strike here off the RPO, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to take a 7-0 lead here on Oregon to begin this one. And that score is going to be by our man, Rico Mulligan. Rico Mulligan, there we go. Almost couldn't say his name because I forgot his name, and as I was reading it, it came out kind of tongue-tied. But Rico Mulligan is going to get into the end zone.
Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down.
That is going to be a great play by the Oregon defender. Just undercut that route. I thought we had the step on him with Malachi Doyle, but that is just a tremendous play. And we're going to get an interception here with Femi Kiki in the end zone. Oregon went for it on 4th down and 4 from their 4-yard line. And Femi Kiki is going to make the play to keep them off the board. Lee O'Haleti is running, and he is free. I don't know what happened with that Oregon defender. It was like he was frozen, but we will take advantage of it with a long touchdown run by Lee O'Haleti to put us up 14-0. And here's going to be a sack, and it's a forced fumble in the end zone, and it's going to be recovered by the Peteytown Piranhas. Juan Ivey falls on it in there. Couldn't tell who got the sack, but that is yet another defensive touchdown for our man Juan Ivey, as we're going to go up 21-0 over Oregon at the start of the second quarter. Looks like Casey O'Neill and Juan Santiago combined on that one. Just an excellent play by the defense. Up the middle, Casey O'Neill is going to, Cal Brown is going to get this sack, and that's going to push him back to a 3rd and 9. Juan Ivey sprinting forward. He's going to get the fumble, and it's going to be recovered. The ball was laying there. He didn't see it, but that is still a fantastic defensive play by Juan Ivey. Max Martino wide open. Their safety was drifting away. Max Martino is going to beat him in that foot race, and a huge play for the Peteytown Piranhas and our Heisman candidate Max Martino receiving that pass from our other Heisman candidate Lee O'Haleti. And the quarterback drops back looking for an open man. Max Martino swerving around their man, and Max Martino's in the end zone again, and the Piranhas are just all over Oregon, 35-0. And off a crazy tip, it's going to be intercepted by Harvey Talbot. Harvey Talbot is going to bring this one all the way back for a touchdown. That's going to be 3 turnovers by the defense, our second defensive touchdown of the day. And it's going to be 42-0 for the Peteytown Piranhas. Piranhas looking to add a field goal at the end of the first half here with Frank Webb. He's going to put that one up and put it on through, and it's going to be a 45-0 deficit at halftime. So I just let the backups handle the second half, and handle it they did as we get the 69-0 victory over Oregon. That's very, very nice. Just an absolutely dominant performance here by the Peteytown Piranhas in Autzen Stadium, and I'm very proud of how they handled themselves. By the numbers against Oregon, we had 530 yards to their 179. We had 214 of those on the ground with a touchdown, while they only had 48. And then in the passing game, we had 316 to their 131. We were 7 of 14 on 3rd down, while they were only 1 for 16. Just incredible job by the defense on that front. And we did also have 2 turnovers, but we forced 5 on Oregon. Lee O'Haleti had 228 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception that was really more of a great play by the Oregon DB. And he was also not sacked. And Greg Proctor, with a little extended time, had 88 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also had a pick. Lee O'Haleti was extremely explosive in the run game today as he had 6 carries, 127 yards, and 1 touchdown, while Steve Sharp had 8 for 57. Max Martino was his Heisman candidate self with 9 catches, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then we also had touchdown catches for Rico Mulligan, Zay Garvin, and Emmanuel Sembrello. Anthony Swift and Randy Felton each led us with 5 tackles. In the pass rushing department, Casey O'Neill had 1.5 sacks, while you got 1 from Juan Ivey, Tremaine Wolfe, and Ezekiel Byrd. And then we had half a sack each for Cal Brown, Juan Santiago, and Sidney Dunsmore. Harvey Talbot had that pick 6, which we love from him, and Femi Kiki had that one in the end zone that prevented Oregon from getting on the board, and really from that point on, it was just all Piranhas. Our pass rushers were forcing fumbles left and right in this one as we got 4 total and 1 each from George Boozer, Juan Ivey, Casey O'Neill, and Juan Santiago. And we got 3 recoveries as George Boozer got 2 and Juan Ivey got 1. And then incredibly, both of them had them in the end zone basically for touchdowns. And freshman Frank Webb handled himself well on the road with the field kicking duties as he made both of his field goals with a long of 37. Harvey Talbot was recognized as the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. So we have our Week 5 game against UCLA coming up, but after that in Week 6 we got some guys on visits with Stevie Johns, Madison Schwenke, who's currently in 2nd place, so really need that boost to go well. And you also got Duke Keller, where we're trailing Georgia on him, but hopefully we're going to be able to get him to hang around for that Week 6 visit. And then we also have Xavier Harmon, the center. And then for the rest of the guys, we still got top 5s, got a couple of Week 7 guys here for Stephen Bakhtiari and Demetrius Telfort. Then we also got some more guys coming down here, Luis Moe, and then going down a little more, a couple of other guys got into their top 5 with Walt Bender and Joel Okorafor. And then we have our fullback down here, but these guys enter their top 5, and we got them on hard sells. And at this point, everybody in the top 5 has hard sells, so we'll see how that goes. For our game against UCLA, we got to be a little careful here as they come in with a 2-2 record, but a 91 team overall, so a little bit underachieving this year, but that makes them all the more dangerous. And Lee O'Haleti absolutely accelerates out of there, and Lee O'Haleti is in the end zone for a rushing score, and that's how the Peteytown Piranhas are going to take the early lead. And we're going to get a hit stick sack there for Casey O'Neill. Juan Ivey up the middle is going to bring down their quarterback. They tried a little sprint out play, but he just stopped in the pocket, and that allowed Juan Ivey to track him down for the sack. And they're going to undercut that curl route. UCLA's got some space to work with, but Nick Fry is going to bring him down, but not before he gets to our 29-yard line. Just always risky on those curl routes that the corner is going to have a beat on it, and he just stuck with our man there and made the play. And over the middle, UCLA is going to get that touchdown, so perfect response for the Bruins after that interception, and they're going to tie up this game at 7 apiece. And that's going to be a wide open Derek Wall in the end zone, and the Peteytown Piranhas are able to respond after that interception turn touchdown to get a touchdown of their own to make it 14-7. And Byron Ezeki is going to speed in there for our 3rd sack of the game. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. And that's going to be intercepted. Randy Felton ranging over there for that one. Breaks a tackle. Maybe it wasn't a broken tackle, but still a physical end to that play there. And we are going to get that big interception on a 4th down that they were trying to convert. After the interception, our offense worked their way downfield all the way to their 2, and we are going to settle for a Frank Webb field goal here. He's going to put that one up, and it is through. And the Peteytown Piranhas are going to take a 10-point lead into halftime. Off the RPO, our man is wide open, and that's going to be Emmanuel Sambrelo getting into the end zone for the Peteytown Piranhas, and we're going to go up 24-7. And Juan Ivey is going to get back there, and I think they're going to count that one as a sack as their man just did not hand it off. I couldn't tell if it was an RPO or just Juan Ivey got in there that quickly, but whatever the case is, it's going to be a 5-yard loss. And UCLA's man is going to fight into the end zone there. A couple of Piranhas had shots at him, but he's able to fight his way through. And UCLA is going to have a great drive to make it a 10-point deficit. And Max Martino is going to make that catch and get around their defender for the Peteytown Piranhas. And we're going to get that 3-score lead back as it's 31-14. Great response after UCLA's touchdown drive. And we're going to undercut that. Kareem Lord looks like he was in zone coverage. Kareem Lord running down the numbers, and nobody is going to catch him. Kareem Lord really putting this one away to make it 38-14. 69-yard pick six according to that graphic. Very nice. And we are going to just be looking good to close out this game. Great play by Kareem Lord, undercutting that. And Casey O'Neal is going to get in there for a sack and a forced fumble, our 5th sack of the game, and an 8-yard loss. And there's another interception for Kareem Lord. This one's really going to do it now. He already gave him the dagger, and that one was just kind of rubbing salt in the wound as it's 30 seconds left in this ball game. Great win here for the Peteytown Piranhas as we get the 24-point victory over UCLA. Very nice job by the defense, just making plays down the stretch to really ice it, and the offense just being efficient and doing what they got to do to get things done. Max Martino there providing a very nice score, and the Peteytown Piranhas keep marching on. We outgained UCLA by almost 100 yards as we had 413 to their 317, and we had 170 yards on the ground and a score while they had 46 and a score. And then for the passing game, we had 243, and they outgained us with 271. And on third down, they were 10 of 17, while we were 5 for 6. And then in the turnover department, we had a positive ratio here, as they had 3 turnovers to our 1. Lee O'Haleti with 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick, and he wasn't sacked. Nick Fry efficient in this one with 12 carries and 88 yards, while Lee O'Haleti had 5 carries, 43 yards, and that lightning strike of a score. Max Martino with 8 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown to lead us, while Derek Wall had 5 for 62 and a touchdown, and Malachi Doyle 6 for 54, and then Emmanuel Sambrelo, whose only catch was for a yard, but it was for a touchdown. Randy Felton and Josh Linder led us with 10 tackles apiece. Juan Ivey and Casey O'Neal were very effective with 2 sacks each, while Byron Ezeki got himself 1. 2 picks from Kareem Lord, one that he returned 73 yards for a touchdown, but I like to think in my headcanon that it was the 69 yards that the graphic showed, but it is what it is. And then Randy Felton got himself a pick for 23 yards. The forced fumble for Casey O'Neal on the sack was not recovered by anybody, but we still applaud Casey for his effort. And Frank Webb not asked to do anything spectacular, but hit his 1 kick for a 19-yarder. With those 2 late picks, Kareem Lord is your Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, and Kareem made a name for himself as the National Defensive Player of the Week. Unfortunately, in recruiting, we lost Duke Keller to Georgia, but we're going to keep him on the board to try to help Madison Schwenk and Xavius Harmon on the Week 6 visit, and especially for Madison, he's in 2nd place behind Penn State at the moment, so any boost we can get would be welcome. And then for Stevie Johns, kind of the same thing here, except for Michigan being in front of us, so see what we can do there. Then we go down to the Week 7 visit. Stephen Bakhtiari and Demetrius Telfort are going to be boosting each other, while Luis Moe and Talia Chung will boost each other on the defensive side of things. And then we go down some more. Sammy Malik is in his top 3 and very close to committing. And then keep on going down, you got Ron Griffin in the same kind of situation, but we do have Clemson and Maryland with visits, so that's something to keep an eye on. And then Frederick Woods, he's looking okay at the moment, but Michigan does have that Tier 5 pipeline. And then Walt Bender got Texas with a Tier 4 pipeline, so it's looking good for guys at the moment, but we do have teams that are really looking behind us in the rearview mirror trying to make a threat out of it. And Joel Okafor, of course, in 1st place. Fullback Daniel Moma, just nobody else challenging for him. And then Jamison Addison, also nobody challenging. And Eric Lopez rounds out the recruiting board, so everybody's in the top 5. Everybody's getting a hard sell, so we'll see how these battles work out. On this important visit week, we'll be hosting the Northwestern Wildcats with their 3-2 record and 74 team overall. And Juan Ivey's got to fight through 2 guys to get to their quarterback, but he will on that sack. And Max Martino on the crosser is going to get into the end zone for the Peteytown Piranhas to open up the scoring in this game. And it's going to come with 2:46 left in the first quarter after a little bit of a defensive struggle by both teams. Max Martino will break the seal. A lot of traffic there, and it's going to result in a sack by Cal Brown for a 7-yard loss. Juan Santiago sprinting after him. It's a fumble, and it is going to be recovered in the end zone by Northwestern, and that's going to give the Peteytown Piranhas a safety, and we're going to go up 9-0 as their mascot just can't handle it.
On fourth down, they're taking to the air.
And Malachi Doyle off the slant is going to separate from the defense, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to extend their lead. It'll probably be 16-0. And off the pump fake, it's going to be Juan Ivy getting in there for the sack. And a bunch of guys coming in, and he is going to be taken down, but it started outside of the end zone, so no safety there, but whole host of Piranhas getting in there for the big sack. Over the middle between some defenders, Nick Fry is going to make that catch. Just looked like 2 or 3 Northwestern defenders there, but Nick Fry was in front of him, and he hung on to that ball securely, and it'll be 23-0 for the Piranhas.
Back to pass, it's McCluster. Bringing the heat.
Quarterback trying to get away, but he will not get away from Cal Brown as he brings him down just behind the line for a sack. And more pressure from the Piranhas here as Juan Santiago gets in there again, and that'll be 7 first-half sacks for the Peteytown Piranhas. And another one on back-to-back plays. Juan Ivy gets a forced fumble again, but it is going to be picked up by Northwestern, but still a huge loss there. Just a few seconds left here in the first half, and Frank Webb is going to set up for a field goal attempt. He's going to put it up. And it is good, and it'll be 26-0 for the Piranhas heading into halftime. And Max Martino getting free off the RPO, and Max Martino is in the end zone again, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to go up 33-0.
He's got great speed.
And Emmanuel Sambrelo is getting out of there on the punt return, and Emmanuel Sambrelo is going to bring that one all the way back. What a nifty little juke move there to give him the space, and then he let his speed do the rest as we're going to hit the 40-point mark in a 40-0 deficit for Northwestern.
You get some momentum. He hurls one deep down the left side.
And that is going to be a deep ball interception. Looks like Ben Hemphill made that one. He's going to return it all the way to their 43-yard line. Just perfect defense there by Ben in the backfield, or down the field really, and it's going to be a nice interception for him. Lee O'Haletti taking this one right up the middle for a short score. We're going to go up 47-0. The backups preserve the shutout for us here as we get this big 54-0 victory over Northwestern. Just everything working pretty much perfectly for the Peteytown Piranhas in this one. The numbers against Northwestern absolutely insane, as we had 427 yards to their 34 total yards, which is mind-boggling, and we got 170 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, while they had negative 43 with all the sacks. And we had 257 yards through the air while they only had 77, and they were 2 of 12 on third down while we were 3 for 7. And then for turnovers, we didn't commit any, and we forced 3 on Northwestern. Lee O'Haletti absolutely marvelous in this game, as he had 243 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks, and he was not sacked. Nick Fry was effective for us on the ground with 15 carries and 91 yards, and Lee O'Haletti had 3 for 21 in the short score, and Greg Proctor came in and got a nice blast up the middle for a 17-yard score. Malachi Doyle was our leading yardage getter in the receiving game, as he had 6 catches, 77 yards, and 1 touchdown, and Max Martino 7 for 68 and 2 touchdowns, and Nick Fry even added a touchdown reception of his own. The pass rush got to Northwestern's quarterbacks 10 times in this game, led by Juan Ivey with an incredible 4 sacks. Then we had 2 each from Juan Santiago and Cal Brown, and then 1 from Casey O'Neill, and half a sack each for Tremaine Wolfe, Ezekiel Byrd, and Byron Ezeki. We all saw Ben Hemphill get that nice interception downfield, and we also had a couple from the backups in Dan Gentry and Junior Nauta. Our guys were able to force 3 fumbles as Juan Ivey, Juan Santiago, and Devin Odrick got those, but we did not recover them. Frank Webb hit his 37-yard field goal on camera, but he did miss one off camera, unfortunately. And can't forget Emmanuel Sambrelo getting a 50-yard punt return touchdown. And Madison Schwenk is the first recruit that we're going to get this season. Madison is joined by Xavius Harmon, and rounding it out is Sammy Malik, so the offensive linemen that we paired on visits were all committed this week, so very nice to see. Unfortunately, I had to take Duke Keller off of the board for recruiting, but in good news, Stevie Johns has jumped into first place over Michigan thanks to that Week 6 visit. And then looking forward to Week 7 this week, we got Stephen Bakhtiari, Demetrius Telfort, Luis Moe, and Talia Chung coming to see us. And then looking ahead to Week 9, you got Ron Griffin currently in a recruiting battle with Clemson. And then you got Walt Bender there as well, Frederick Woods, and Joel Okorafor. And for Joel and Walt and Ron, they're all kind of complementing each other, so hopefully those boosts help us. And then looking down further, you got these guys in pretty comfortable leads, so feeling pretty good with where we are at recruiting for now. For the last few weeks since we last checked in, it's been Max Martino and Lee O'Haleti in the 1 and 2 spots for the Heisman, but now Lee has dropped to 3rd place behind Alex Folsom, and you can see pretty much the only reason is that he has those only 2 interceptions while Lee has 5, but we like to see that Max has maintained his position, but probably needs more yards than he did in our last game if he wants to maintain that spot. Another week with recruits visiting, and this time it'll be the Washington Huskies coming to town with their 82 overall and 3-3 record, and they have not won a Big Ten conference game yet, so we don't want to be there first.
Back to throw, it's James.
Juan Ivey is going to get the sack, a 7-yard loss there for Juan, and we are going to make him go to a 3rd and 17. And we are going to get our RPO flat play to work out there, and it's going to be Malachi Doyle in the end zone, and we're going to go up 7-0. And Juan Santiago forcing a fumble there. It's going to be picked up. That's going to be Sidney Dunsmore there, and that's going to be a defensive touchdown. We just really have been racking those up in recent times with the Piranhas, and that's going to be 14-0 on Washington. Great play by the defense. Juan Ivey getting back there, and the pass rushing nightmares for this quarterback continues as Juan Ivey's in there again, and that's going to be his 10th on the season. And this time it's going to be Washington getting into the backfield for a sack, and that's going to push us ahead of any possible field goal range. And Juan Ivey's in there again. It's another fumble. It's scooped up by the Piranhas, and it's Juan Santiago getting it this time. And he was the one who forced the fumble earlier, and this time he's the beneficiary of a fumble recovery as Juan Ivey gets in there again to end the first quarter. Nick Fry going to get this carry on 3rd down and goal. He's going to punch that one in, and we are going to take full advantage of that forced fumble and fumble recovery from Juan Santiago and Juan Ivey, and Nick Fry is going to put us up 21-0. Max Martino on our crosser, and he is going to get into the end zone. Max Martino is going to put us up 4 scores. Washington just trying to get on the board here as they're going to trot out their field goal kicker, and he is going to put this one up, and it is going to be good. So it's going to be 28-3. And we're going to throw an interception. Leo Haletti trying to make a throw on the run, but unfortunately that's not going to work out for us as Washington has a chance here to put some points on the board before the end of the half.
Pressure coming.
And big pass rush here, and it is going to knock them out of that field goal range as they're on the 49.
On the run from inside his own 5.
And here we go on a kick return to open the second half, and he is going to be gone. Big return from Emmanuel Sambrelo. He had the punt return in our last game, and now he's added a kick return touchdown to his resume, and we're going to go up 35-3. And it's going to be a couple of tries. Washington needs to get into the end zone, but they will. It's a 3rd down and goal, and they just try to run it 3 straight times. And 3rd time was the charm for them, as they're going to make it 35-10. And it's going to be a little possession catch there for Max Martino as he's in there for the 2nd time in this ball game. And it's going to be 42-10 for the Peteytown Piranhas. A nice solid 45-10 victory here over the Washington Huskies. Nice job by the boys getting this 5-score victory. Max Martino, of course, having a big day as he usually does. And we continue to move on in this season. A huge record here as Max Martino is now the national career receiving yards record holder. Just an absolutely fantastic accomplishment for him. He now has the national career records in receiving yards, touchdowns, and receptions. So absolutely marvelous from Max Martino. The numbers don't necessarily indicate that it was a blowout victory here, as we had 306 yards to their 248. We had 104 yards on the ground and a touchdown, while they had 35 and a touchdown. And down in the passing game, they actually outgained us by a bit with 213 to our 202. And then they were 3 of 11 on 3rd down, while we were 6 for 11. But the real, I think, difference maker in this one was that we were able to force 3 turnovers on them while we had 1. Leo Haletti a little bit modest on the passing yards today as he had 199, but he did have 3 touchdowns and that unfortunate interception, and he was sacked once. In the running game, Nick Fry led us with 10 carries, 44 yards, and a touchdown. On his record-breaking day, Max Martino led us with 13 catches, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Malachi Doyle got himself a touchdown on the goal line. Harvey Talbot out there leading us with 10 tackles. Juan Ivey with another big sack game as he had 3. Then you had Juan Santiago with 1, and then half a sack each for Corbin McNulty and Sidney Dunsmore. We had an interception off camera with Max Carmen. That was a nice leaping grab that he returned 47 yards to set us up for a field goal attempt. 2 forced fumbles in this one as Juan Santiago and Juan Ivey got those. And then they were covered by Juan and Sidney Dunsmore, and Sidney returned his for that touchdown. And we mentioned the field goal attempt by Frank Webb, and he was able to hit it off camera for a 23-yarder. And Emmanuel Sambrelo making a bit of a name for himself here as he was able to get a kick return touchdown. That performance was enough for Stevie Johns to want to become a Peteytown Piranha. On the offensive side of things, Stephen Bakhtiari is now a Piranha. Quarterback Demetrius Telfort will also be joining us. Back to the defensive side, we got a 5-star with free safety Talia Chung, and another 5-star on the defensive side with will linebacker Ron Griffin, so that visit week was definitely very impactful for us. Your Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week was Max Martino. The only guy who came on the Week 7 visit who did not commit was cornerback Luis Moe, but he is right there, so hopefully we get his commitment this week. And then we got Walt Bender to lead the Week 9 guys in his top 3 with Texas looming behind. And then we got Frederick Woods also in his top 3. And Joel Corafor is still in his top 5, but we'll have to see what happens this week with that Colorado Week 8 visit this week. And then we got our fullback, and the other guys are still in quite a nice lead. We're going to leave the friendly confines of the Piranha Tank to head to Wisconsin to take on the 89 overall Wisconsin Badgers and their 2-5 record. And we are going to separate here. Malachi Doyle sprints towards the end zone to give us the early 7-0 lead. Looks like he might have gotten a block downfield too to help him, but Malachi Doyle really showing off his speed there. And Wisconsin is going to punch this one in, so they took our score on the first drive and said we can do that, and they have tied it up. Offense was able to drive a little bit, but they stalled out, and Frank Webb is going to come out here for the kick. And Frank Webb is going to put it through, so we reestablish a lead of 10-7. And they're going to try the sprint out play, but it is not going to work out as Juan Ivey is all over it. And coming in now, Nick Warrior. Back-to-back plays for the Piranhas defense are sacks, and that's going to force a punt from Wisconsin. Juan Santiago hits him hard on the forced fumble, and it is going to be recovered by Cal Brown. So our defense is able to force a turnover after our own turnover on offense. Just an absolutely brutal hit there from Juan Santiago to jar the ball loose. And we bring the blitz, and that's going to spring Juan Ivey free for the sack. Juan Ivey pushes him back to make it a 47-yard field goal attempt here for Wisconsin. And their kicker is going to put this one up. And it is off the upright and no good, so we are going to maintain our lead. And wide open in the end zone is going to be Malachi Doyle. They didn't cover him on the slant. And off the momentum of that missed field goal, the Piranhas are going to go up 17-7. And it is going to be Nick Warrior getting in there again for a sack. Nice job by the pass rush. And absolutely bull rushing that guy is going to be Byron Ezeki. He just went right by him on that sack. Max Martino is going to get this one on our RPO flat play to the tight end. And Max Martino is going to put us up 24-7. And it's going to be Nick Fry getting into the end zone here. Nice read by Lee O'Haleti. Had a lot of defenders on the goal line there, but they let Nick Fry in, and it's going to be 31-7. Their man is just running backwards, scared for his life, and Juan Santiago is going to gobble him up for that sack. And here's another sack and a forced fumble, and it is going to be recovered by the Peteytown Piranhas. Couldn't see who was in on that one, but it's going to be Juan Santiago on the recovery, and that's going to set us up at their 11-yard line. Just incredible play by the defense. We'll see who pops up here. It's going to be Juan Ivey getting the credit on that sack, but there was a multiple guys there. Nice spin move by him. Byron Ezeki also in there. Lee O'Haleti is going to take this one, and the hole is going to open up beautifully from the offensive line, and it's going to be 38-7. And here comes another sack for the Peteytown Piranhas. Cal Brown and Juan Ivey getting in there. As we're under a minute left in this one, Frank Webb is going to attempt a field goal, and he's going to boom this one up. And it is through to make it a 41-7 game for the Piranhas. Wisconsin gave us a tough battle in that first half, but the second half was all Peteytown Piranhas as we go on to win 41-7. The Piranhas had 362 yards to Wisconsin's 179, and we had 150 yards and a touchdown on the ground, while they had -8 and a touchdown. And in the passing game, we had 212 yards to their 187, and we were 7-11 on third down, and they were 7-14. And for turnovers, we just beat them out there as well, as we had 1 and they had 2. Lee O'Haleti with 212 yards, 4 touchdowns, and that 1 pick on what was really a great play by the defender, and he wasn't sacked at all. Nick Fry finishes with 13 carries and 75 yards, and then Lee O'Haleti had 3 for 29 and a touchdown run. Max Martino leading us with 11 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown, while Nick Fry had 6 for 32 and a touchdown, and Malachi Doyle, both of his catches went for touchdowns, and he also had 32 yards. Harvey Talbot leading us today with 13 tackles and 5 for a loss, and then Juan Ivey got 10 tackles with also 5 for a loss. Juan Ivey on an absolute tear with sacks right now as he has 3 more sacks, and then Juan Santiago has 2. Then you got 1.5 each from Harvey Talbot and Byron Ezeki. Then another one from Nick Warrior with 1.5, and then Cal Brown with 1 sack. Juan Santiago and Juan Ivey forcing fumbles, and then you had them recovered by Juan Santiago and Cal Brown. Frank Webb did his job today with 2 makes and a long of 54. More recruits coming in as we got 5-star cornerback Luis Moe, and our fullback of the future will be Daniel Moma. In our next game, we'll be having visits from Walt Bender, Frederick Woods, and Joel Okorafor, and it's very important that we get this win convincingly because, as you can see, these battles are very tight, and Frederick is in a recruiting battle with Michigan, so definitely need this one to go our way. Up next for the Piranhas, it's the 2-5 Purdue Boilermakers with their 74 team overall, and we're looking to impress some more recruits this week.
Wants to win week in, week out. He's hungry.
And coming off the edge here, it's going to be Byron Ezeki getting a sack. Lee O'Haleti is going to fight off a tackle attempt and drag another man into the end zone, and the Piranhas are on the board first. Offense gets it to the 37, but stall out, so it's going to be a 54-yard attempt for Frank Webb, and the ball is going to go through the uprights, and the Peteytown Piranhas will take a 10-point lead.
To throw, it's Burns. Unloads to the wideout.
Oh, and what a catch there by Purdue's guy. We're going to chase him down with Harvey Talbot, but that is just such an impressive catch with our guy Ben Hempill closing in on him. Big gain for Purdue.
Second down, he'll throw it.
Right up the middle, it's going to be a sack for the Piranhas. Juan Ivey and Sidney Dunsmore getting in there to push him back.
Deflection. From the gun, wants to pass. He's going to let one.
We got a man deep, and it's going to be connected to Frank Hay, and Frank Hay is going to run into the end zone. Fantastic pass from Lee O'Haleti. Frank Hay was able to run under it and separate, and we're going to go up 17-0.
Let him be checked out. Under 5.
Juan Ivey sprinting in there, and he's going to have another sack in this ball game. It says 1, but he's been involved with, I believe, 2 at least, and that's going to be a 7-yard loss. Despite the sack from Juan Ivey, Purdue's still in a position to try a field goal here, and their man is going to put it up, and it is going to be good. So Purdue is on the board to make it 17-3.
He wants to throw it.
And it's going to be a strike to an open Malachi Doyle in the end zone, and the Peteytown Piranhas will go up 24-3 with just under 2 minutes left in the first half. Offense was able to get the ball back and get it down to their 21 to set up a field goal, and Frank Webb is going to put this one up, and it is good, and the Peteytown Piranhas will take a 27-3 lead into halftime.
Using his feet.
Lee O'Haleti is running all the way to the end zone. Nobody was there to account for Lee O'Haleti, and he's got a nice touchdown run there, and it's going to be 34-3 for the Piranhas. And that's going to be intercepted off an RPO attempt there. Looks like Max Carmen is there to make the interception, just in a crowd there. Quarterback couldn't make it out, and Max Carmen put his hands up and got that pick, and we're set up on their 15-yard line.
From the gun, he'll try to throw for it on third down.
And over the middle, Malachi Doyle in traffic is going to get into the end zone again for the Piranhas, and we're going to go up 41-3.
Time if they don't pick up the first down here.
Oh my goodness, Cal Brown just absolutely pushes that guy back, and Juan Santiago comes to help and clean it up. Cal Brown, Juan Santiago on a great sack there.
Looking to throw on first down.
Max Martino is going to get this one, and Max Martino is going to get into the end zone for the Piranhas, making it 48-3. The backups came in and poured it on some more against Purdue as we finish with a 65-3 victory here, and just very good effort. Purdue was able to move the ball a little bit on offense, but we kept pushing them back and at a scoring position, so just great day here for the Piranhas. In this one, we finished with exactly 300 more yards than Purdue, as we had 551 to their 251, and we had 195 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground, while they had 20. And then going down to the passing game, we had 356 to their 231. They were 6 of 16 on third down, and we were 2 for 4. And then for turnovers, we kept it clean, and we forced 2 on them. Leo Haletti with a brilliant day in this one as he had 329 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and he wasn't sacked at all, and he had 2 incompletions the whole game. Leo Haletti was also a force on the ground as he had 7 carries, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns to give himself a 6-touchdown day. Then Steve Sharp with the backups had 7 for 67 and a touchdown. Max Martino finishes with 8 catches, 118 yards, and 1 touchdown. Then Frank Hay had 2 for 89 and that long score. And Malachi Doyle finishing off some drives with 7 catches, 52 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Max Carmen had himself a great day as he had 10 tackles in this one. For sacks, Juan Ivey had 1.5, while we had 1 each from Juan Santiago and Henry Carden. Then half a sack each for Byron Ezeki, Cal Brown, Sidney Dunsmore, and Nick Warrior. Max Carmen had 2 picks today, 1 on camera, 1 off, and the 1 off camera one he returned 47 yards for a touchdown. And Max is an interesting case because he'll come in with those double safety looks with the starters, and then he's also the backup, so when we bring the backups in, he comes in, and to be honest, we've had to bring in the backups a lot this year because we've been ahead by a lot in a lot of games, and he's able to get out there and really get some good game experience, so we love seeing him making plays out there. Finally, for Frank Webb, he ended up with 3 field goals out of 3 attempts and a long of 54. 5-star cornerback Walt Bender has joined our defensive backfield. On the offensive side of things, left guard 4-star Frederick Woods will be joining us. Another 5-star on defense with Mike linebacker Joel Okorafor. Max Carmen was your Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, and Max was good enough to be named National Defensive Player of the Week. His 6-touchdown day led Leo Haletti to be the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. Jamison Addison and Eric Lopez are both in their top 3, and they both have Week 11 visits, and this is Week 10 with Michigan coming up, but hopefully no team gains on us before that. For a few weeks, there hasn't really been any movement in the Heisman Trophy race, but now there has been. Max Martino still in first place, but Leo Haletti, on the strength of that 6-touchdown day, moves back into second place, so we'll see how this continues to go throughout the season. It's time for a rematch of the Big Ten Conference Championship from last season as we go to the Big House to play the Michigan Wolverines with their 96 overall and 5-3 record, so a bit of a struggle for them this year, maybe a little underachieving, but with a team this talented, you can't take it for granted, and we'll see if there's another exciting one in store between these two teams.
Looking to throw, it's York.
Coming in on the edge, it's going to be Juan Santiago getting the sack before their quarterback can get away. Off the RPO, it's going to be Malachi Doyle getting this catch in the end zone. Frank Webb is going to be out here for a field goal attempt, and Frank is going to put this one through to make it a 10-0 game.
Back to throw, it's York. Pocket breaking down.
And Michigan has gotten behind our defense on that deep ball. Kareem Lord gets beat by their receiver, and Michigan is going to make it 10-7. And Juan Ivey pushing his man back into the sack, and Sidney Dunsmore also there to help bring the quarterback down. Juan Ivey running after him again, and Juan Ivey gets in there like a bullet and is going to bring him down again. And that's going to be 40 career sacks for Juan Ivey. Max Martino going to get this one on the crosser, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Peteytown Piranhas as Max Martino is going to make it 17-7. Here comes a sack as he fights through a couple of guys. Couldn't tell who it was, but nice play there. Perfect end-of-half drive by the Peteytown Piranhas to set up Frank Webb for a field goal attempt. And Frank is going to put this one up, and it is going to go through, and we're going to go into the second half with a 20-7 lead. And they're going to have a wide open man. Looks like it was an RPO, and he is going to run all the way into the end zone, and Michigan is going to make it a 20-14 game. And it's going to be intercepted by Michigan, trying to throw a deep slant there for Frank Hay, but Michigan's man is right there to make the pick. Michigan has driven it all the way down to our 3-yard line, and they're on a 4th down and goal, empty formation. Their quarterback is going to throw it out, and Randy Felton is going to get back there to make the play to keep him out of the end zone. Steve Sharp going right up the middle, gets a block, fights through a bunch of guys, and Steve Sharp shows his physicality to get into the end zone there, and it looks like it's going to be 27-14. I'll let you know if Petey Previtt decides to go for 2, but if he doesn't, then just assume it's 27-14. And you don't have to do any assuming, as we will be going for the 2-point conversion here. And Lee O'Haleti is going to drop back. He's going to fire one, and it's going to be caught by our guy. Looks like Derek Wall in the end zone for the 2-point. That's going to make it 28-14. And that is going to be an ill-advised throw by Lee O'Haleti into traffic, and that's going to be intercepted by Michigan. Just not a play we really need from our quarterback there, unfortunately. And in the back of the end zone, Michigan's quarterback is going to get a strike to his man to make it a 28-21 game. And with 1:30 left, they don't have any timeout, so it's going to come down to an onside kick for Michigan. So here is the onside kick, and it is going to be recovered nicely by the Piranhas. And Lee O'Haleti can come out in the quarterback kneel formation that we love to see. And Lee will take that knee. The clock will run down, and we're going to walk out of the big house with a 28-21 victory over the Michigan Wolverines. Just a very competitive matchup here, very talented team over there. Max Martino, of course, making a big impact, but just a game that really showed our mettle, and I love how the Piranhas were able to overcome a couple of interceptions from Lee O'Haleti and get this win. On this day, the Piranhas had 419 yards to Michigan's 349, and we had 97 yards rushing and a touchdown while they had 6. And then in the passing game, we had 322, and they outgained us with 343. And we were 4 of 9 on 3rd down, while they had 3 for 10. And then for turnovers, we actually lost the turnover battle, as we didn't force one, and we had 2 of our own, but we were able to overcome that. Lee O'Haleti finished with 322 yards, 2 touchdowns, and those 2 picks in key situations, but thankfully they didn't come back to bite us, and he was also sacked twice. Steve Sharp was our leading rusher today with 5 carries, 59 yards, and that late score that helped us separate. Max Martino with a Heisman-like day today with 17 catches, 152 yards, and a touchdown. Then Nick Fry had 6 for 67, and Malachi Doyle 6 for 44 and a touchdown grab. Ben Hemphill finished with 10 tackles to lead us. Few sacks today as Sidney Dunsmore and Juan Ivey each had 1.5. Then Juan Santiago had 1, and got to tip the cap to our freshman Frank Webb for hitting both of his field goals in a hostile environment and a long of 39. After the bye week, Jamison Addison has committed to the Piranhas, and Eric Lopez also joined us on that bye week visit. After going through the bye week, looking back at the Heisman Trophy race, Max Martino still in first place, but Lee O'Haleti has dropped down to 3rd as Alex Folsom and him are just kind of flip-flopping back and forth right now. Our rivals Pitt are going to visit the Piranha Tank now, and they come in with a 90 overall and 10-1 record, and they're ranked number 8 in the country. And the Peteytown Piranhas have dropped from number 1 to number 3. That I don't really understand, but it is what it is. But today we're going to try to prove that we deserve that number 1 spot again. Lee O'Haleti taking this one on the goal line to get into the end zone, and the Piranhas are going to open this rivalry game with a touchdown. Lee O'Haleti trying to get away, but Pitt is going to take him down for an 8-yard loss on the sack. And again, it's going to be a sack by Pitt, but we are going to recover the fumble that happened on the end of that. 2 sacks really push us back, but Frank Webb is going to try a long field goal here, a 57-yarder. He's going to send this one, and it is good, so nice kick by Frank, and we're going to go up 10-0. And we're going to get a sack right back here as Juan Ivey gets back there. Play action, and that is not a good idea as we brought the blitz there. Josh Linder getting back there for the sack.
looking to throw.
Throwing the slant, and it's going to be Malachi Doyle on the receiving end of that one. And we're going to go up 17-0.
Looking downfield on first down.
And we're going to crunch him down for that sack. Juan Ivey, Sidney Dunsmore get in there. Pitt got it into our red zone, but couldn't punch it in, so they're going to settle for this field goal attempt. And their man is going to put it through to get him on the board and make it 17-3. And it's going to be Nick Warrior this time getting into the backfield for the sack.
Yeah, it starts right here. Obviously, you can't get it all back on this stride.
And off of a tip, it's going to be intercepted there. Looks like it's going to be Randy Felton on that. Anthony Swift gets the tip, and Randy Felton is just in the right place at the right time, and we got it on their side of the 50.
He can do a little bit of everything.
And we're going to rifle one with Lee O'Haleti into the arms of Max Martino, and he is in the end zone for us again, and it's 24-3 for the Peteytown Piranhas. And that's going to be undercut by Pitt trying to hit that RPO post, and instead of floating it over them, Lee O'Haleti went with a dart pass, and it was a dart right into the hands of Pitt. And coming in for the sack here, it's going to be Juan Santiago and Cal Brown Casey O'Neill, bringing them down. And that one is going to be intercepted in the flat. We got a clear lane to return that one, and it will be returned by Randy Felton all the way back, and it's going to be 31-3 for the Peteytown Piranhas. And Pitt is going to put one into the end zone here after a nice drive. Still a far ways away as it's 31-10. And the Peteytown Piranhas finish off this rivalry win with a 31-10 victory. And the Panthers Piranhas provocation is again won by the Piranhas. We haven't lost it yet, which is very nice. And we look forward to our final game of this season. By the numbers against Pitt, we had 366 yards to their 278. And we had 100 rushing yards and a touchdown, and they had 27 and a touchdown. And in the passing game, we just outgained them 266 to 251. And we were 3 of 7 on third down, and they were 2 for 10. And then for turnovers, we won that battle 2-1. Lee O'Haleti solid today with 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, and he was sacked twice. Lee led us in rushing with 9 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown, and then Nick Fry had 12 for 34. Max Martino with 9 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown, and Malachi Doyle very effective with 10 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Harvey Talbot was out there making plays with 10 tackles. Juan Ivey led us with 1.5 sacks, while Josh Linder got 1 as well as Nick Warrior. Then we had half a sack each from Juan Santiago, Sidney Dunsmore, and Casey O'Neill. Randy Felton got himself 2 picks, and he returned one of them 71 yards for a score. Frank Webb asked to come on 1 time, and he hit that field goal, a very impressive 57-yarder. Randy Felton with a couple more picks is your Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, and he's the National Defensive Player of the Week as well. After our last win, Petey Previtt leveled up again, so we're going to go to this Tier 2 in Talent Developer for offensive linemen. Entering our final game, Lee O'Haleti has dropped out of the Heisman race entirely now, but Max Martino still holds his top spot. We're going to end our regular season at Indiana with their 72 overall and 3-8 record, but a big story heading into this one is that we have a chance to win our 60th straight game, so really would like to get that milestone. And we're going to get a sack, a forced fumble, and it's going to be picked up by one hand on Juan Santiago. He's returning this one all the way. Got a little tongue-tied because I was so surprised that he just picked that up with one hand. Juan Santiago showing that athleticism, just running away from everybody. And after a drive by Indiana where they were looking pretty good, it ends in disaster for them as we go up 7-0. Sidney Dunsmore is the first one to get there, and Juan Ivey is the second as that combo strikes again. And they're going to get a whole bunch of guys back there for another sack, and that's going to count as a safety for us, and we're going to go up 9-0. And that is one of the weirdest plays you're ever going to see, but Indiana is going to get an interception out of that. Lee was throwing it at the feet of our running back, but Indiana's guy just came out of there and got that interception. And we are going to, off an RPO play, get Derek Wall in the end zone, and we are going to go up, let's see, it's 16-0. And that is going to be a touchdown as Malachi Doyle gets free, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to go up 23-0. And we're going to undercut that one beautifully. Harvey Talbot on the interception, and he is going to return it to their 33-yard line. Harvey Talbot, just great job in coverage on that play. After the interception, our offense is able to drive it to their 3-yard line to set up Frank Webb for an end-of-half field goal attempt. Frank is going to put it up, and it is through to make it 26-0. Beautiful pass by Lee O'Haleti in between their defenders, and Derek Wall is gone to the end zone, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to make it 33-0.
On 3rd and long, you'll need to push it downfield.
And he's going to get hit as he throws, and that's going to result in an interception by Josh Linder, and Josh Linder is going to bring that one all the way back into the end zone for a pick six, and it's going to be 40-0. Juan Ivey getting in there for a sack. That's part of his second sack of the day to force a punt on Indiana. 21 sacks on the season. Another strike from Lee O'Haleti to Derek Wall. That's the second time I think that's the second time he's been in today. He might have had one more, but it's going to be 47-0. Max Martino is going to get this one, and he's going to get into the end zone, and it's going to be, you're going to see a big score here. I want to be honest, I kind of left him out there to try to add to his stats for the Heisman Trophy, and it has paid off as he has a touchdown reception there, and it's going to be 71-0. Great close to the regular season for the Piranhas in this 71-0 victory. Just absolute dominance here, and hopefully we can carry that over into the Big Ten Championship. Congratulations are in order for Juan Ivey as he has set the Big Ten single-season sacks record. And a big record here as Lee O'Haleti now has the national career passing touchdowns record, and I believe he took that from our own guy Pete Manning, so that record will be staying in the family, so congratulations, Lee. Very proud of the Peteytown Piranhas for getting their 60th straight victory as a program in blowout fashion, and we had 473 yards of offense to their 95, and 49 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, while they had negative 23. Going down to the passing game, we had 424 to their 118, 5 of 7 on third down for us, and 2 for 11 for them. And then for turnovers, they had 5 and we had 1. Lee O'Haleti finishes the day with 286 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. And in a little bit of extended action, Greg Proctor had 138 and a touchdown, and he was sacked once. Not a lot happening in the running game today as Lee O'Haleti led us with 4 for 23, and then Greg Proctor had a couple of short touchdown runs. As I mentioned during the game, just kind of cheesed the stats a little bit with Max Martino and kept him out there to try to add to his totals for the Heisman Trophy, and he responded with 12 catches, 133 yards, and a touchdown. Then Derek Wall was big today with 7 catches, 98 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Malachi Doyle 5 for 56 and a touchdown. Kareem Lord got himself 8 tackles to lead us. Juan Ivey with 2.5 sacks, and then Henry Carden got 1 with the backups. Then we had half a sack each from Sidney Dunsmore, Casey O'Neill, Juan Santiago, and Byron Ezeki. 4 interceptions for the Piranhas today as Harvey Talbot, Cortez Adai, Warren Newcomb, and Josh Linder each got 1, and Josh returned his for 21 yards and a score. Byron Ezeki forced the fumble that was picked up by Juan Santiago that he returned 73 yards for a touchdown for our first defensive score that was followed by Josh Linder. And Frank Webb put up 2 field goals, made them both, and a long of 59. In the Big Ten Championship, we are going to be taking on the USC Trojans. Entering Conference Championship week, Max Martino is still on top of the Heisman Trophy race, and the main competition right now is Alex Folsom, and he will be playing in the SEC Championship game, and he's got some pretty decent stats, low interceptions, a lot of rushing yards, so not going to be easy to keep him off of it. And Lee O'Haleti is also in the Heisman Trophy race again at the number 5 spot. For the third straight year, the Peteytown Piranhas will be playing for the Big Ten Championship, and their opponent this time around is USC with their 97 overall and an 11-1 record, and they also went undefeated in Big Ten play, so definitely a team that is very dangerous and one we got to take very seriously. And Juan Ivy and Juan Santiago are going to get in there for the sack on third down to force a field goal attempt for USC. After the sack, it's a 31-yard field goal attempt for USC. Their kicker is going to put it up, and it is going to be good, so they take the early 3-0 lead. Juan Santiago is going to force a fumble here. It's laying around, and it is going to be recovered by the Peteytown Piranhas. Nick Warrior on the recovery, and that's a huge play because they were right there at field goal position, but that's going to turn it over back to us. After the forced fumble, our offense moved the ball a bit to set up a field goal attempt here for Frank Webb, and Frank is going to put that one up, and he's going to put it through to tie up this game. And it's going to be knocked out, and it's going to be recovered by Casey O'Neill. What a play. Kareem Lord forcing that fumble on their quarterback who was trying to fight for the first down, and instead it's going to be turned over to the Piranhas. And it is going to be tossed out to the side for Rico Mulligan, and Rico is going to get into the end zone, and we are going to go up 10-3. Femi Kiki coming in, and he is going to get a sack there. Nice job by Femi on the rush. And it is going to be Max Martino making that catch. He went out on an out route there, it looks like, maybe a corner route, but it was able to separate him from the defense, and he is in the end zone again, and it's going to be 17-3 for the Peteytown Piranhas. You say again for Max Martino, I just mean again as in he just has a lot of touchdowns this year, of course. And that is going to be a leaping interception by USC. We tried our fave RPO post route, but that guy made a very athletic play to get back to it, but also kind of not happy with Lee on that decision. RPO, and he is going to fight through 2 Piranhas to get into the end zone, and USC has made it a 1-score game after that interception. Lee O'Haleti floats one to the side, and it is going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas. Frank Hay makes that nice catch, and we respond to USC's touchdown with one of our own to make it a 2-score game. Had a lot of time, but that time eventually ran out as Nick Warrior is going to get there for the sack.
First play of the drive, looking to throw the football. Taking a shot deep down the right side.
And we float one up, and USC is going to make that interception. God, I just don't like it when that happens, where quarterbacks just float it up there right where a safety is, and that's going to cost us on the interception, and they return it near midfield. Blitz sent by the Piranhas, and it's going to work for us as Casey O'Neill is the one to get free for a sack. Off the slant on the RPO, it is going to stick to the hands of Derek Wall, and he is in the end zone, making it 31-10 for the Peteytown Piranhas in this Big Ten championship game. Max Martino open in the flat, and Max Martino is in there for the second time in this game, and it's going to be 38-10, and that'll put the finishing touches on this one. The Peteytown Piranhas win their 3rd straight Big Ten championship on a score of 38-10 over the USC Trojans. Just Great job by the Piranhas getting this one. The defense forcing some turnovers early to help get us into a rhythm, get us into this game, and just happy with what we've accomplished this season so far. But of course, the job is not done. In this Big Ten championship, we had 338 yards to USC's 248, and we had 85 yards rushing to their 36. And in the passing game, we had 253 to their 212, while they were 5 of 12 on third down, and we were 5 for 7. And then the turnovers were even with 2 apiece. Along with those 2 interceptions today, Leo Haletti put up some numbers as he had 253 with 5 touchdowns and no sacks. Nick Fry led us with 12 carries and 54 yards on the ground. Max Martino, of course, was big with 13 catches, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Derek Wall had 6 for 47 and a touchdown. Then we scroll down to a couple of guys who got short touchdowns with Frank Hay and Rico Mulligan. A few guys in the 10 tackle club today as Randy Felton got 13, and then Harvey Talbot and Anthony Swift got 10. For sacks, we got 1.5 from Juan Santiago, and then 1 apiece for Femi Kiki, Nick Warrior, and Casey O'Neill, and then half a sack from Juan Ivy. 3 forced fumbles today by the Piranhas as Juan Santiago, Juan Ivy, and Kareem Lord got those, and we picked 2 of those up with Nick Warrior and Casey O'Neill, and those really helped us set up a couple of early scores for us. Frank Webb had it simple today as he made his only kick for a 38-yarder. Max Martino, of course, was the offensive player of the game in the Big Ten championship. For the awards, Max Martino is your Walter Camp Award winner. Fantastic job by him. Max Martino is also the Maxwell Award winner. And for the first time in Peteytown Piranhas history, we have a Heisman Trophy winner. Max Martino will be the one to do it. Just an incredible season, incredible career, and just I'm absolutely elated for him with this award. This is definitely a big accomplishment in this program. As for some other awards, Juan Ivy wins us the Chuck Bednarik Award again. Juan Santiago is your Defensive End of the Year Award winner. Juan Ivy is also the Bronco Nagurski Trophy Award winner. Naturally, Max Martino is the John Mackey Award winner. Trent Chick wins us the Outland Trophy. I believe that's the first time we've gotten that, so wonderful job by Trent. Juan Ivy also brings home the Lombardi Award. Here are the final standings for the Heisman Trophy race. Of course, Max Martino wins it. Then you had Alex Folsom in second place, and he had 30 TDs and 5 interceptions. And then for Tulane, they had Gideon Cox up there, 47 touchdowns. Really impressive from him. Then wide receiver A.J. Benedict from Georgia getting 22 yards and 18 touchdowns. And then Lee O'Haletti was in 5th place, 48 touchdowns, and those 13 interceptions probably is the thing that held him back the most, but just absolutely elated for our guy Max. For early National Signing Day, we can take a look at these dev traits, and Talia Chung is an elite dev, so great start there. Walt Bender is a star. Then Joel Okorafor is elite, so very nice. Ron Griffin is a star. Then Luis Moe elite, just wonderful job so far by us. Jameson Addison also a star. Then Eric Lopez a star. Sammy Malik a star. Oh my God, we're doing great. And then Stevie Johns is our first impact, so at least it's still something we can work with. Then Stephen Bakhtiari is elite as well. Wonderful. Demetrius Telford is elite as well. Oh my God, I just am gotta take a breath here. I'm just elated with what we're doing so far. Madison Schwenk is a star dev. Then Azavius Harmon, normal, so we're first normal. Then Frederick Woods is elite as well. I did not expect that, but love it. And then Daniel Moma is normal, so I just am over the moon with this recruiting class. It looks really good, and just very happy for the future of the Piranhas. Here's how the college football playoff bracket looks. You got 1 seed Auburn, and then we're on the other side as the 2 seed, and then Texas is number 3, and number 4 is our rivals Miami. And then for the first round, you're going to have Nebraska facing Tulane, Arkansas and Illinois, BYU Clemson, and then Penn State USC. So we're going to have a pretty tough matchup coming our way between USC and Penn State's winner. It will be USC that we got to face, so a nice rematch of the Big Ten championship that we just played. In the first round of the college football playoff, you had Nebraska blowing out Tulane, and then Arkansas outlasting Illinois, Clemson taking care of BYU, and USC winning by 2 possessions over Penn State. And that'll set up matchups where Miami's taking on Nebraska, Auburn goes against Arkansas, Texas and Clemson square off, and then of course our matchup with USC. The Rose Bowl will be the host of this quarterfinal game with us and USC, and of course they don't have to travel far while we have to go across the country, but it's a trip we've made before and a trip we've made successfully, so hopefully we can continue that in this one.
Defense better adjust.
And finally the pressure gets home after their offensive line stood up a little bit, and Juan Santiago's leading the charge. Blitz is going to make a fumble there, but they are going to scoop it up, and Juan Santiago cleans that up. Looks like Casey O'Neill is the one who got in there for the sack to force it loose. Max Martino getting loose, and the Heisman Trophy winner is going to find the end zone to open up the scoring, and it's going to be 7-0 for the Peteytown Piranhas. And that is going to be intercepted by Harvey Talbot. He just got his hands in there in front of the receiver and snagged it away from him, and we're going to take this one on their side of the 50. And open in the end zone, we're going to find our man. That is Derek Wall there. Leo Haletti making a nice throw and good decision, and we're going to go up 2 scores. In there, it's going to be a pass rush, and it's going to be a forced fumble. Juan Santiago picks it up. Juan Ivy a little banged up on that one, but looks like the Peteytown Piranhas are going to force this fumble and cause the turnover. Steve Sharp goes right up the middle, and USC was not ready for that, and Steve Sharp is going to make it a 3-score game for the Piranhas. And he tried to get away from him, but it's going to be a sack, but they are going to recover it. Looks like they're giving Sidney Dunsmore credit on the sack. And that is going to be a tremendous effort by Malachi Doyle to get into the end zone there. And we add another one to make it 28-0. And Nick Warrior gets in there. It's another fumble, and it's recovered again by USC. Your guy just can't hang on to the ball in this game. And they are going to jump that route, and it's going to be intercepted, and they are going to return it a little bit, but just one of those where we're trying to do something, but USC says, no thank you. And he finds the man in the back of the end zone. Nice job by their quarterback there. And USC is going to open the 4th quarter with a touchdown to make it a 3-score deficit for them. Steve Sharp going to get a block on the edge from his O-line, tight end, and fullback. And Steve Sharp has made another trip to the end zone in this game. And it's going to be 35-7. And that is a leaping athletic interception by Randy Felton. What a great play by him. After that interception, we're able to run out the clock, and it's going to be a 35-7 victory for the Peteytown Piranhas in this quarterfinal game. Just very happy with the Piranhas taking care of business here. Max Martino has set a new record for Big Ten single-season receiving touchdowns. We outgained USC 449-180, while we had 144 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and they had 38. And then for passing, we had 305 to their 142, and they were 3 of 8 on 3rd down, while we were 9 for 11. And then for turnovers, they had 3 and we had 1. Outside of the interception, Leo Haletti did a really nice job with 305 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he wasn't sacked. Nick Fry had 16 carries for 77 yards, while Steve Sharp had 4 for 35 and 2 touchdowns. Max Martino had 14 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown, while Malachi Doyle had 7 for 67 and a touchdown, and Derek Wall 6 for 46 and a touchdown. Femi Kiki was out there making plays with 10 tackles and 2 for a loss. Casey O'Neill had 2 sacks, while we had 1 each for Juan Santiago, Nick Warrior, and Sidney Dunsmore, and Byron Ezeki had half a sack. 2 interceptions on the day, 1 by Harvey Talbot and 1 by Randy Felton. 4 forced fumbles today from the Piranhas as Casey O'Neill, Juan Santiago, Nick Warrior, and Sidney Dunsmore were credited with those, and we were able to recover 1 of them with Juan Santiago. Our semifinal opponent will be number 6 seed Clemson. With Petey Previtt's upgrade, we're going to get this Tier 3 in offensive line and talent developer, and that means we are done with our things that we wanted to do in talent developer. In the other quarterfinal matchups, they were all close games except for ours, as Nebraska beat Miami, Auburn beat Arkansas, and Clemson beat Texas, of course, to get to us, so it'll be us and Clemson, and Auburn and Nebraska on the other side. The semifinal is here, and our opponent, of course, is Clemson, a team that we've played before in different situations, and it's been kind of a mixed bag here and there, but we're hoping this latest chapter is positive for us.
On 1st and 10, look at the throw.
And Clemson is going to get a sack here, and that's going to push us back 6 yards.
Quarterback drops back from the shotgun, looking for a receiver.
Max Martino is going to possession catch this one in the end zone, and we recover from that earlier sack to take the 7-0 lead.
Off the play fake, looking to throw. Fires it to the wideout.
And Clemson gets around us, and their man is going to get into the end zone, showing off some speed there, and they are going to tie this game up. Getting it out there, and it's going to be Rico Mulligan in the tight end spot getting that touchdown. Max Martino a little banged up on the last play, so Rico comes in and rewards us with a touchdown, and we're going to go back up, and it's 14-7.
And he'll drop back here on 3rd down.
Pass rush is closing in, and it is going to get home as Cal Brown and Juan Santiago get him down. Rico Mulligan again is going to get into the end zone here, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to go up 21-7. Max Martino came out for a couple of plays, then sat back down, and Rico Mulligan is doing his best impression of him as we're going to go up by 14. Just under a minute left in this first half. Clemson has put it in field goal range for their kicker, and he is going to put it up, and it is through, and they'll close the margin a little bit to make it 21-10.
Quarterback drops back.
And we're going to get free for a sack. It's a fumble, and it's picked up by their guy, and we are going to push him back 6 yards there, looking like Nick Warrior got in on that one. The Piranhas get it just inside the Clemson red zone, but no further, and that's going to set up Frank Webb for a field goal. And Frank is going to put that one through, and we are going to extend our lead, and it's going to be 24-10.
Grinding away here.
And we are going to jump that route. Randy Felton in the right spot there. They tried a little hitch route, and Randy Felton was all over it for that interception.
Anticipate where you're going to put the ball.
And how about 3 touchdowns for Rico Mulligan in replacement of Max Martino in this game? Unbelievable job by him. And it's going to be 31-10 for the Peteytown Piranhas.
Quarterback drops back. We're going to test the secondary.
And he looks like we just ran that route for him as we get the interception with Max Carmen. Excellent coverage there by him. And we're going to be just outside of their red zone. Nick Fry is going to get the blocking that he needs, and Nick Fry is going to get into the end zone and make it a 4-score game, and I'm just going to let it sim out for the rest of this time, maybe get some backups in for the last few minutes, but great job by the Piranhas in this one. The Piranhas get this semifinal victory 38-10, and doing it in large part without Max Martino is even more impressive for this team, and we are feeling good heading into this national championship, our 4th in a row, and looking for a 4-peat here. Just incredible job here by the Piranhas, and now it's everything to play for in our next game. The Piranhas were able to get 345 yards to Clemson's 275, and we had 71 yards on the ground and a touchdown, while they had 17. And then for passing, we had 274 to their 258, and they were 6 of 12 on 3rd down, while we were 7 for 10. And then for turnovers, we kept it clean, and we forced 3 on them. Leo Haletti had himself a great game in this one with 274 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, and he was sacked once. Nick Fry with 9 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Malachi Doyle led us with 7 catches and 75 yards, while Derek Wall had 7 for 54, and Rico Mulligan just absolutely fantastic filling in for Max Martino, 10 catches, 54 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Max Martino, before he went out, he had 5 for 31 and a touchdown. Harvey Talbot, the man in the middle, with 10 tackles and 3 for a loss. Nobody got a full sack, but we got a few guys with half a sack with Juan Ivey, Juan Santiago, Cal Brown, Henry Carden, Tremaine Wolfe, and Nick Warrior. 3 interceptions on the day for the Piranhas as Max Carman got one, Randy Felton got the other, and Tyrone Friend with the backups got one in the end zone. Juan Ivey was able to force a fumble in this game, but it was not recovered. Frank Webb hit his only field goal of the day with a 36-yarder. In the national championship, we will be taking on number 1 seed Auburn, and it'll be a matchup of number 1 versus number 2. Looking at Auburn's roster before we head into the national championship, you got Cedric Carapatius, their quarterback, 92 true overall, 96 with tactician boosts, and their actual best player is DeMarcus Thorne at 93 overall, 95 with tactician boost, so very lethal backfield combo. And they got some really good defensive linemen with Pat Gunham and Shaquille Lewis, so definitely a team that is deserving of being here and a team that's going to give us all we can handle, I think. Here we are, ready to step into the national championship against number 1 seed Auburn with their 91 overall, and they are also undefeated, so battle of the unbeatens here. And of course, we have a lot of history on the line here. We're trying to become the first Division I football team to ever win 4 national titles in a row, so we're going to see what we can do here, and let's get it started. Again, we look upon that national championship trophy. Looks like we are in New Orleans, I think it is, as Auburn gets ready to enter here. Cheerleaders flip it in the air as they like to do. And here comes the Auburn Tigers trying to defend their number 1 seed. Their mascot rocking out like he's got an air guitar. And then we're going to wait for the Peteytown Piranhas to enter. And here they are, led in by Lee O'Haletti and Daryl Lawrence. And I'm just ready to get this one started. A little comparison, we do almost 2/3 of our 3rd down conversions while they're at 54, and they outgain us a little bit, so we're going to see how that all factors into this national championship. And Max Martino just has that one across the line as we open the scoring here in the national championship. Max Martino making it 7-0. Steve Sharp getting this one. He gets the blocking he needs on the edge, and Steve Sharp is in the end zone for the Piranhas, and we're going to go up 2 scores. And they are going to get a touchdown here. Cedric Carapatius gets that pass to his receiver on the slant, and Auburn's going to claw their way back to make it a 14-7 game. With the seconds ticking down in this first half, Frank Webb comes on for a long field goal attempt. Frank is going to put it up, and it is through. Very nice kick there from the freshman, and we're going to take a 10-point lead into halftime. Max Martino on the crosser. Max Martino runs into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the day, showing the people why he was the Heisman Trophy winner.
He's going to return it from near the goal line.
Auburn's kick returner is breaking free. Nobody is going to catch him, I don't think. No, Josh Linder is not going to get him, and Auburn is going to respond to the Max Martino touchdown with a kick return touchdown here, and it's 24-14.
Quarterback looking to throw it on 2nd down.
Max Martino again is breaking free, breaking tackles. Max Martino is in the end zone again. The 3rd time today, Max Martino. It's going to be 31-14. A wonderful response from the offense after that kick return. Max Martino, have a day, young man. We just get into the Auburn red zone, but can't get any further as Frank Webb looks to add some more to this lead, and he will. And it's going to be 34-14 for the Piranhas. And Casey O'Neill is going to get a sack. It forces a fumble. It's picked up by Randy Felton, and Randy Felton gets it into the end zone. It's going to be a fumble 6 here for the Peteytown Piranhas as we go up 41-14. Byron Ezeki chasing him down, and Byron Ezeki's got a sack. Closing in on him, it's Byron Ezeki again, along with Juan Santiago. Frank Webb out here to try to make it a 30-point game. Frank Webb is going to put it up, and it is good, and we will get that deficit as it's 44-14. And Cal Brown is going to stick him down for a sack. And the final seconds have ticked off in this national championship, and for the 4th time in a row, the Peteytown Piranhas are the national champions, and no other college football team in Division I has ever done that. A 4-peat for the Peteytown Piranhas, their 6th national championship overall, making history here against the Auburn Tigers in blowout fashion. So incredibly proud of the Peteytown Piranhas for what they've accomplished, and 4 undefeated seasons in a row as the Heisman Trophy winner hands that trophy over to Petey Previtt again. Just absolutely just elated with the Peteytown Piranhas right now. And huge day, as you can see, from Max Martino. Here are your national championship stats. We had 414 yards to their 257, had 71 yards on the ground and a touchdown to their 26, then 343 yards in the air to their 231. We were 4 of 8 on third down to their 4 of 11. And then for turnovers, we kept it clean and we forced one on them. Lee O'Haleti just saved an absolutely wonderful performance for his last game with us. 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was not sacked, and he only had 1 incompletion all game. Nick Fry with a modest gain, 13 carries for 34 yards, while we had Steve Sharp get into the end zone for us. Max Martino ends a legendary career with just an absolutely fantastic performance in this national championship. 13 catches, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Malachi Doyle under him with 7 for 50, and Frank Hay 3 for 48. Anthony Swift led us in this one with 11 tackles. For sacks, Byron Ezeki got there 1.5 times, while we got 1 each from Cal Brown and Casey O'Neill, and Juan Santiago had half a sack. Casey O'Neill also got that forced fumble, which was picked up by Randy Felton, and he returned that 15 yards for a touchdown. How about Frank Webb hitting all 3 of his field goals with a long of 55? Anthony Swift was recognized as the defensive player of the game in the national championship. And who else but Max Martino was the player of the game on offense. With Petey Previtt's latest upgrade, I'm going to be going into the CEO tree and getting this last impression ability. Here are the final season stats for the Peteytown Piranhas. Lee O'Haleti had 4,608 yards, 58 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Nick Fry led us on the ground with 161 carries, 863 yards, and 4 touchdowns, while Lee O'Haleti had 72 for 522 and 8 touchdowns. In his Heisman-winning campaign, Max Martino had 179 catches, 1,995 yards, and 27 touchdowns. Then Malachi Doyle had 86 for 814 and 12 touchdowns. Derek Wall, 66, 672, and 9 touchdowns. Then out of the backfield, Nick Fry, 54 catches, 471 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Harvey Talbot was our leader in the tackle department, the only guy over 100 tackles with 110. For TFLs, Juan Ivey with an astounding 48 tackles for a loss, then Juan Santiago with 30, and Harvey, of course, with 22. Juan Ivey finished the season with 23 sacks, while Juan Santiago had 13, and Casey O'Neill had 11.5. For interceptions, Randy Felton had 5, then Max Carman had 4, Harvey Talbot 3, and then 2 each for Kareem Lord and Josh Linder. We had a whole bunch of defensive touchdowns on this team, as Randy Felton had 2, Juan Ivey had 2, then 1 each for Max Carman, Harvey Talbot, Kareem Lord, George Boozer, Josh Linder, Juan Santiago, and Sidney Dunsmore. Anthony Swift led us with 12 pass deflections. Whole lot of forced fumbles for this team as Juan Ivey had 7, Juan Santiago also had 7, 4 for Casey O'Neill, 2 for Sidney Dunsmore, then 1 each for Kareem Lord, George Boozer, Byron Ezeki, Cal Brown, Devin Odrick, and Nick Warrior. As far as recovering those fumbles, Juan Santiago had 4, Juan Ivey had 2, George Boozer had 2, then 1 each for Randy Felton, Casey O'Neill, Sidney Dunsmore, Cal Brown, Nick Warrior, and Henry Carden. Casey O'Neill also had our only safeties forced as he had 2. In the kicking department, Frank Webb was 22 of 24 with a 91% field goal percentage and a long of 59. On kick returns, Emmanuel Sambrelo had 23 for 477, and he had a kick return touchdown. Emmanuel also had 36 punt returns for 299 yards and 1 touchdown there as well. For our career stats guys, you have Leo Haletti, and he ended up with 13,746 yards, 177 touchdowns, and 44 interceptions. And as we all know, that 177 for touchdowns is the national career record. Leo Haletti ended his career with 264 carries, 1,682 yards, and 27 touchdowns, and combined with rushing and passing, he had 204 total touchdowns responsible for, so that is a Division I record, so congratulations to Lee. Here is the record-breaking exploits of Max Martino, most catches, yards, and touchdowns in a career in receiving, 603 catches, 6,373 yards, and 88 touchdowns. Just absolutely a legendary career for Max Martino. Randy Felton ends his career with 260 tackles, 25 for a loss, 2 sacks, and 10 interceptions. And then going down the line, 4 defensive touchdowns, 18 pass deflections, and 1 fumble recovery. For Ben Hemphill, he had 243 tackles, 12 for a loss, and 7 interceptions. And then he had 3 defensive touchdowns and 13 pass deflections. And then he had 1 forced fumble. As for the incredible Juan Ivey, he had 137 tackles, 88 for a loss, 45.5 sacks. Then going this way, he had 5 defensive touchdowns and 1 pass deflection. And then he had 9 forced fumbles and 6 recoveries. And then finally, he had 1 safety. Also want to shout out Juan Santiago with 87 tackles, 51 for a loss, and 23.5 sacks. And then going this way, he had 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 pass deflections, and then 8 forced fumbles and 5 recoveries. Gotta admit, I'm pretty surprised that we have 11 players who want to transfer out, a lot of them due to playing time and 1 playing style for Ben Westerman, so I'm just going to go through and see which one of these guys want to stay. So, did not go nearly as well as I wanted, as a lot of guys want to leave. Tyrone Friend and Ben Westerman want to leave, as well as Zach Ball, Tyreek Sledge, and Miguel Martini. And add to that Javier Perkins, Curtis Wallow, and Cortez Chick. And then we also have Shakir Paris, who we just didn't have enough persuasions for, but we do have 2 guys staying with Assad Barmore and George Boozer. It's time to say goodbye to a truly legendary class of seniors, and we got Trent Chick here, the 99 Club, and an award winner, just incredible guy up front for us. Then you got Lee O'Haletti, who was in and out of the Heisman race throughout his career, set some records, and just an absolutely wonderful quarterback from us. And as our starter, he ended up being 48-0. He never lost a game as our starter, and that is just absolutely incredible, so he will be missed. And then Harvey Talbot, a man in the middle, just got to 99 overall after I added some points to him, but just incredible guy. Then Anthony Swift on the outside, very reliable and just shut down corner over there. And then you got Ben Hemphill in the back end, just helping to clean up things back there, and incredible player as well. Then, of course, you got the absolutely legendary Max Martino, easily the greatest tight end in college football history, winning the Heisman Trophy, our first in program history. Just, you cannot say enough about Max Martino and the impact he's had on this program. In our history, we've had a lot of great defensive tackles, but I think everybody is looking up to Juan Ivey as the class of all of them. Just a absolute monster for us, an award winner, and just the athleticism, the power, the everything he brought to the table. He was absolutely incredible, and scoring defensive touchdowns like he did from his defensive tackle spot is just absolutely incredible. I just will miss him a lot, and he is the gold standard of defensive tackles, I think. Juan Santiago, definitely a pass rushing partner out there and making things happen, cleaning things up, and just being a great player for us. And then Cal Brown in the transfer portal, really stuffing up that middle along with Juan Ivey. And Kareem Lord on Anthony Swift's other side was a good cornerback over there. Then Sergio Collinet, very good guy as well. And got to go to Randy Felton, a fantastic year this year, leading us in interceptions and being a great guy there. 12 Peteytown Piranhas have entered the ranks of the NFL with Lee O'Haleti, Max Martino, Trent Chick, Harvey Talbot, and Anthony Swift all going in the first round. Then you got second rounders Jabari Enekpali, Juan Ivey, and Ben Hemphill. In the fourth round was Cal Brown. In the fifth round was Juan Santiago and Kareem Lord. And then in the seventh round, you got Sergio Collinet. And very proud of these guys. Wish Randy Felton could have gotten in, but it is what it is. But I am glad that Max Martino was able to get to the first round. He deserved it after his career. And just very happy with these guys. So not looking at a whole lot of guys here in the transfer portal. I am trying to get Ben Westerman and Zach Ball back. And then as for other guys, we do need a third quarterback. So looking at Alton Vaughn here with 94 throw power and solid accuracies and pretty decent athleticism. And then we got John Hardy, another quarterback, 96 throw power and pretty similar stats to Alton. And then for the rest of the guys, looking at a strong safety, Pat Dillard with 92 speed and great zone coverage and gold house call and gold robber. Then a couple of wide receivers with Robert Averill with 93 speed, 97 acceleration, and fantastic route running. And then Alex Aguilar with 90 speed, 95 acceleration, and pretty good route running. Advancing to week 3 of the transfer portal, you got Alton Vaughn with nobody else really challenging for him, and he's going to be on a visit this week, and we're hoping that visit can help boost Robert Averill, who needs all the help we can give him, as Ohio State's in first place, but we do have his hard sell, so we'll see. Then Ben Westerman, he's in second place, and we got him on a week 4 visit. And along with him on that week 4 visit will be Zach Ball, who's currently got a nice lead over the other two teams, Penn State and Clemson. Then Pat Dillard also has a nice lead. Then Alex Aguilar also, but just in his top 5. And then finally John Hardy down here, not visiting anybody. He's all alone right now. Nobody else really challenging for him. Alton Vaughn will be joining the Peteytown Piranhas quarterback room. And Zach Ball will be coming back, so nice to see that. Pat Dillard is going to be another addition in the defensive backfield for us. Unfortunately, Ben Westerman has locked us out, so we will not be able to get Ben back to the team. But in better news, Robert Averill is in first place over Ohio State now, but it's a recruiting battle, so that one's just going to come down to the wire in this last week. Then Alex Aguilar has got a little boost over Pitt. We got him on a visit, so that's good. And John Hardy should give him a little boost there, as nobody else is challenging for him still. And John Hardy will be another addition to the quarterback room. Alex Aguilar will help lead this wide receiver group. Robert Averill has decided to join the Ohio State Buckeyes, unfortunately, so that didn't go our way. Looking at his dev trait, he is a star, so that's not really a surprise, so kind of upset about that, but it is what it is. We already knew Zach Ball is a star dev, then Alton Vaughn is impact, Pat Dillard is a star, so nicely done. Alex Aguilar is an impact, and John Hardy is impact, so got a small transfer class, but we didn't need a lot of guys, but pleased with the guys we did get. Overall in this class, we were able to sign 6 elite dev players and 8 star dev players, so very happy with the quality we got. And then we go on over to the top classes in the country, and the Peteytown Piranhas come in at number 3 with 7 5-stars and 10 4-stars, along with 3 3-stars. Greg Proctor will be the guy taking over for Lee O'Haleti, and he's at an 87 true overall and 89 with tactician boost. And we got him there with an accuracy boost, and now he has 90 medium and deep throw accuracy. And we got his IQ to 81, and his quickness to 92 speed, 91 acceleration. Then went over to his abilities and got him to silver mobile Deadeye. Steve Sharp has become our best halfback, as he's a 90 overall, 92 with tactician boost. And then looking at him, he had already maxed out his quickness and got to his cap on elusiveness, so he added a tick to his power, and then a little bit to his route running and IQ, where he's got 90 ball carrier vision, 88 awareness. And then for his abilities, he already had the downhill at silver, so we got him bronze workhorse, battering ram, and balanced. Interesting case here with Nick Fry. He's an 89 true overall and 91 overall. Wish we could have gotten him up more, but unfortunately his quickness and elusiveness were already at their cap, so we got his hands to their cap, then his IQ to its cap, and then we pretty much spent everything else in route running, and we did that because we couldn't really get any more abilities, so he's basically going to be like another receiver out of the backfield, so that could be an interesting element for our offense. For our top 3 receivers, they're all 92 true overalls, and Derek Wall and Malachi Doyle come out as 93 with tactician boost, and Frank Hay is our best guy with 94. And then looking a little more closely at Frank, we go over to his ratings. He got his hands up to where he's got 90 catching, 97 spec catch, 90 catch in traffic, and then we boosted his route running as well, and then his elusiveness. And then for abilities, we got him bronze sidestep. For Malachi Doyle, we've improved his hands, where he's got 95 catching and 98 catch in traffic and 99 spec catch. Then we got his route running to its cap, where he's very good at route running, and elusiveness a little bit. Then going over to his abilities, I believe he already had the platinum cutter, but we did get him platinum double dip. For Derek Wall, we got his hands up to a nice spot, and then we got his route running to its cap, and then boosted the elusiveness a tiny bit, and also his IQ. And then in his abilities, we got him to Platinum Cutter. Emmanuel Sambrelo comes in as our 4th best wide receiver, but I wanted to point out his 99 speed and 98 acceleration, so he might be able to find some catches here and there next year. Zay Garvin has taken a big leap this offseason to become our number 1 tight end at an 85 overall and 88 with tactician boost. Then looking what we did, we got his route running to its cap, then we got his hands to its skill caps, then we boosted up his blocking a little bit. For Logan McCrath, he had 208 skill points to use, and we got him to a 99 overall with all of that. And we got him there by getting to max out his pass blocking and run blocking, got his power to 1 more skill cap, then his IQ went up to 87 awareness and 91 lead block. And then over in his abilities, he's got Platinum Pocket Shield, Gold Quick Drop, Platinum PA Shield, and Gold Strong Grip. So he's just, seriously one of the best offensive linemen we've ever had, and I'm just very excited to see how he leads that group next season. Joining Logan McCrath on the offensive line will be 94 overall and 95 with tactician boost, Larry Funk, and we got him there by getting some run blocking in and maxing his pass blocking to its skill cap. Then we got his IQ up a little bit. Then in his abilities, he's got Platinum Pocket Shield, and he's also got Bronze PA Shield. Another guard to keep an eye on is Trevon Fouts. He's an 87 true overall and 90 overall with tactician boost, and want to highlight him as he's gotten to his caps in run blocking, and he's also maxed out his power, and with that max in power, that got him Platinum Strong Grip, but also very excited about his other Platinum abilities with Outside Shield, Option Shield, and Inside Shield. Flipping over to defense, Sidney Dunsmore is a 97 overall, 99 with tactician boost, and we got him there by getting his finesse moves to 81, then getting his run stopping to its cap and his IQ to its cap, so he's got 99 awareness and 95 play rec, so very smart player out there. And then in his abilities, we got him to Platinum Takedown. With our defensive tackles, want to point out that Nick Warrior is our highest overall at 86 and 89 with tactician boost, and he's got gold pocket disruptor, grip breaker, and takedown. But the guy I really want to highlight is Henry Carden, who's going to be an up-and-comer, only a sophomore, but I want to highlight him because we had Juan Ivy be an athletic freak, but this guy is on a whole other level as he's got 95 speed and 98 acceleration out of the defensive tackle spot. So I don't know what kind of role he's going to have next season, but really look out for this guy in the future. Femi Kiki is now a 94 overall, 97 with tactician boost, and we got him there by getting his pass coverage to its cap, and 93 zone coverage, 93 man. Then run stopping, we got him to 92 tackle and pursuit and 93 block shed. And then we went over to his abilities and got him silver wrap up, and he already had the platinum blow up. For Dan Gentry, he is now a 94 overall, 96 with tactician boost, and we got him there. He already had his quickness up to 94 acceleration, 95 speed. We got his pass coverage up to 90 and man coverage to 89. His run stopping was already at its cap, and the biggest thing we did was improve his IQ at 91 awareness and 87 play rec. Kevin Metz is a 93 true overall, and we got there by getting his man coverage up and his zone coverage. And we also had him on Platinum House Call already. As for the rest of our cornerbacks, Josh Linder and Devin Odrick are both staying at an 87 true overall at the moment so that they don't go pro. And we just focused on their strength, so that's like their jumping ability basically. But I'm just saving up points for their senior season. Unfortunately for Zach Ball, I tried to do the same thing but overshot it just a little bit, so hopefully he doesn't go to the pros, but we'll have to see. Kai Hamrick is also getting the 87 overall treatment, and we got him there by boosting his zone coverage and man coverage. His quickness was already capped out, and over in his abilities, he's at Platinum House Call and Robber, and he's also got Bronze Knockout. Matt Dunn is now a 96 overall, and he's got 99 zone coverage, 93 awareness, and 99 play rec. And then in his abilities, he's got Bronze Ball Hawk and then Platinum House Call and Robber. Transfer strong safety Pat Dillard is a 93 overall, and we got him there by getting his zone up to 95, and then his run support to 90 pursuit and 80 tackle. And then we also made his House Call and Robber Platinum. Advanced a week further than I wanted to, but despite that, wanted to reminisce on this past season for the Peteytown Piranhas. It was an absolutely magical one as we were able to make history with 4 straight national championships, got our first Heisman Trophy winner with Max Martino, and this senior class goes home with 4 national championships and pretty much never lost, which is incredible to see. And just thinking about different things and how our past seasons have gone. Some other teams have had more draft prospects go into the NFL, but I think this has to be considered one of, if not our best team ever, because you consider the fact that we pretty much blew out everybody except Michigan. Well, that was a one-possession game, but pretty much everybody else was multi-possession wins, and then the fact that I never had to step in and help this team is a feat unto itself. So for me, I don't know, this might be the best team ever. You can debate that if you want, but just the resume that they put forward is pretty undeniable and really, really incredible. So just looking forward to the future of the Peteytown Piranhas, but this season has to hold a special place in all of our hearts. I'll see you guys in the next video.